It is in a crazy place. The heart of Dubai is Dira by the creek, some kilometers away. This was, to most people, out in the middle of the desert.
It was in a location none would ever have predicted. The center of Dubai was beside the creek, alive and bustling just a few kilometers away, but this was in the middle of the desert, where nothing should have survived. Under the turbulent dunes of the Dubai desert, artificial intelligence discovered something beyond belief, the remnants of a 5,000-year-old civilization. Streets, walls, and artifacts rested intact, as if suspended in time. But the city itself had disappeared overnight. The reason is still a mystery, and the implications go far beyond archaeology. Even seasoned reporters such as Lester Holt called it history that wants to be remembered. What kind of force could wipe out a whole civilization so completely? And even more sinister still, what lessons does this hidden city have to teach our contemporary world? The answers might be more disturbing than anyone is bold enough to imagine. Whispers float under the sand. Rub al-Khali is not a normal desert, it is a desolate realm of quiet that consumes all. Across the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Oman, and Yemen, it spreads as the largest contiguous sand desert on our planet. The atmosphere itself breathes secrets, suffused with the burden of ages long past. For centuries, the dunes have wandered and rearranged themselves, hiding all that lay in their wake. To others, it is dead. To the people who understand its past, the sands speak of lost things. There are legends about Yubar, the alleged Atlantis of the sands, a city that was so wealthy and powerful it vanished in an enigma. Some claimed it was the desert's jewel, others said it was a myth. Archaeologists hunted, adventurers took risks, but most came back with nothing, only shards of pottery or barely detectable remnants of nomadic tribes. The desert is unforgiving. Its dunes shift, and digging there is all but impossible. What appears today may be lost tomorrow, engulfed again by a sea of golden sand. But the allure of finding something never dissipated. Since time immemorial, the area has fired the imagination of scholars, treasure seekers, and scientists. There were those who fantasized about ancient trade routes from Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, and Arabia. Others thought whole civilizations rose and fell here predating recorded history, wiped out by climate changes and driving winds. But until now, such speculations were only fascinating hypotheses. In the past, discovering something in the Rub al-Khali meant excavating under a scorching sun, digging slowly, with minimal reward. Aerial photography and ground-penetrating radar made a difference, but the sheer mass of sand proved too great even for modern equipment. Penetrating that barrier took something entirely different. Technology has rewritten the rules of archaeology now. Artificial intelligence combined with satellite imaging allows one to comb huge expanses from above and look for anomalies undetectable to the naked human eye. Researchers at Khalifa University in Abu Dhabi tried it in the Rub al-Khali, without high hopes. They were merely curious if synthetic aperture radar, SAR, could delineate subsurface layers well enough to identify areas that needed investigation. It was supposed to be a pilot project, that's all. But the findings transformed everything. Unusual patterns emerged under the dunes, geometric arrangements too accurate to be geological. Straight lines meeting perfectly at right angles. Clusters of circles as if once being courtyards or storage tanks. The patterns went on for kilometers, implying something much larger than a small village. When the AI cross-referenced the findings against thousands of archaeological sites all over the globe, the verdict was beyond dispute. These were not geological anomalies. They were human signatures. Whispers long ridiculed as legend came alive. But the team proceeded with caution. Space-based information is potent, but without supporting evidence on the ground, it can only hint, and not prove. Nevertheless, the patterns under the sand were unlike anything previously seen in Arabia. And a darker question soon arose: if there was such a massive civilization 5,000 years ago, what had obliterated it so thoroughly? When archaeologists initially looked to machines for assistance, the concept sounded like science fiction. But over the last decade, AI has progressed from being a tool to becoming a partner, unraveling secrets human eyes alone couldn't. SAR became the go-to weapon, shooting radar pulses across the dunes and uncovering the shapes beneath. Seeded with AI learned on thousands of archaeological sites, ranging from Bronze Age settlements to forgotten South American road networks, the system learned to reason the way an archaeologist would, eliminating natural noise and uncovering underlying structures. The scans moved over the desert. Most of the anomalies were nothing: dry riverbeds, dune crests, natural formations. Then came something else. Straight lines, perfectly so, moved in large parallel tracks for hundreds of meters, splitting at exact angles. Rectangles were seen in large groupings, as if following an ancient city plan. Circles were visible, evenly scattered, that would indicate wells, silos, or ceremonial sites. All around, vague outlines hinted at large walls or protective barriers. This was not an outpost. This was a city. It was planned, the layout careful. Rectangles became complexes that could have been temples or public halls. Circular depressions grouped deliberately. Out beyond the city center, potential roadways extended outward in inappropriately straight lines toward the horizon. It appeared to be the center of a larger system. Historians were shocked. The find overturned everything that was known about Arabia's timeline. Major permanent settlements were not thought to have been here until much later on. And yet this city demonstrated not only survival, but flourishing. Its layout did not conform to Mesopotamian, Indus Valley, or early Arabian designs. It was something different. More bizarrely, no written records anywhere referred to it. How could a civilization so advanced simply disappear without leaving a ripple? Speculation grew dark. Some blamed climate collapse. Droughts in 3000 BC may have strangled the desert into unlivability. Others conjectured sudden disaster, sandstorms or something so sudden it did not leave any evidence of rebuilding. Whatever occurred, the remnants implied sudden abandonment, not slow decay. The implications hit at something more profound: vulnerability. If a city this sophisticated could be wiped away this tidily, what did that say about ours? When digging started, archaeologists discovered precisely what the AI had promised: stone-paved streets, walls intact, pot intact, even sealed jars of grain and dates, still intact after millennia. It was as though they had just got up and left in one moment. The archaeological evidence was indicative of sudden environmental collapse, inclement sandstorms, persistent drought, or both. This changes everything, one archaeologist stated. And it did. The find not only rewrote Arabian history, it acted as a warning. Dubai authorities quickly sealed the site. International experts were summoned. The ruins were put under guard to keep them safe. When word got out, comparisons were made: the collapse of the Akkadians, the Maya, Angkor. But in contrast to those, this society didn't leave behind so much as a whisper in legend, an echo in surrounding cultures. It had been gone entirely, buried until AI rediscovered it. The ghostly reality is not so much what was discovered, as what it suggests. If a civilization as advanced as this one can vanish without explanation, how many others are buried under deserts, jungles, or oceans? And if the forces that annihilated it were natural, then those same forces still linger, patiently. In the weeks that followed, the discussion filtered from archaeology into climatology, urban design, and politics. Research showed that this city had been a thriving one, surviving on reliable water, planted fields, and trade routes. But when the climate changed, it fell in one generation. No evolution, no continuation, only silence under sand. The message was simple: nature can cut off power to civilization at the snap of its fingers. For contemporary Dubai, the find was not just history. It was a mirror. Scientists cautioned against parallels: increased heat, changed winds, brittle infrastructure. Dubai culture made a statement: this was not heritage alone, it was a warning. As one official said, "We are looking at a mirror from the past, and the reflection is uncomfortably familiar." The location is still under protection. With each new layer, more is uncovered, but with every stone, anxiety increases. This is not an archaeological endeavor, it is a reminder. Civilizations, regardless of advancement, are tenuous. The same forces that destroyed this city still exist, patient and relentless. The desert has surrendered its secret. But what it whispers is not necessarily about the past. It could be about our future. Changing patterns of wind could have rendered the region a dead zone, isolating trade and strangling fields. Archaeologists compared it to the flicking of a switch, a sudden environmental shift that the people of the city could not escape. Some cited historical analogies. The Akkadian Empire in Mesopotamia fell about the same time, probably a product of a centuries-long drought. Central America's Mayan cities also saw such declines during protracted dry spells. In every instance, human societies that appeared stable and secure were devastated when their environment changed more than their systems could support. The recently discovered Dubai desert city comfortably fit that same mold. Contemporary scientists were quick to apply the lesson to the present. The Arabian Peninsula, even today supported by contemporary infrastructure and desalination technology, is still reliant on tenuous systems. A warming planet, altered climate patterns, and growing water needs might unveil weaknesses that resonate with the challenges this ancient civilization endured. It was not merely history. It was a warning. Dubai Culture released a statement highlighting the importance of the site, not merely as an archaeological jewel, but as a living classroom in learning about environmental resilience. They urged a coalition of historians, climatologists, and policymakers to read the fall of the city and use its lessons in the present. "We are gazing into a mirror from the past," said one official, and the reflection is uncannily familiar. Meanwhile, the diggers kept digging, revealing more of the city's plan. They uncovered signs of sophisticated water management, stone-lined canals, roofed systems, and channels that diverted runoff from infrequent desert rains. These systems had evidently been successful for centuries. But as soon as the climate changed, even the best engineering was not sufficient. In a way, that was the most frightening aspect. This was a civilization that had learned to thrive in its environment. It still fell, though. Global interest in the find boomed. Documentaries were ordered up, conferences organized, and satellite photographs of other desert regions were restudied with new urgency. If AI was able to discover this, what else was lying hidden in the sands of Arabia, North Africa, or Central Asia? And if there were a few more sites like this, how many would have the same tale of abrupt failure? For the time being, the site is still under tight guard. Its secrets are only slowly being unveiled piece by dexterous hands burrowing into the sand. But the feeling of unease does not depart. In the imagination of many, this is not an archaeological expedition. It is a quiet reminder that the forces that erase cultures have not gone away. They still exist around us, patient and unrelenting, biding their time for the appropriate circumstances to come back. The future under our feet. The Dubai desert discovery did more than redefine a page of history. It shifted the manner in which the world sought out its past. For centuries, archaeology depended on laborious, slow,